Nerdy is defined as someone characterized by an obsessive interest in something. Xbox, Marvel, technology, D&D, Lord of the Rings, escape rooms, Pokemon, Funko Pop, Star Wars, PlayStation, comic books, Magic the Gathering, Nintendo, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. All of that is Tech D Rob, host of the Nerd News Podcast, your source for everything nerdy.
I realize you guys are all nerds.
And this is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of the Nerd News Podcast. The first in November, the birth month of myself. I don't know where I was going with that. But I will be 38 this month. I'm an old man. Getting there anyway. Today's Nerd News Podcast, I'm going to go over some things that I've caught up on. I am completely caught up on the Loki show. The season finale of that is coming up. I'm also going to tell you what I think about Marvel in general lately. I am a huge, as the kids say, stan of Marvel. But they have their work cut out, and I think they know it. I'm also going to give you some information about some upcoming things in TV show watching. Just a couple of things there. But as we always do, we're going to get started with the quick hits. So I wanted to make sure I was recording because last week I recorded promos for this for like social media, for audio promos, and I didn't press record twice. And I finished up, and two times I went, oh, cool, great, I'm stupid. So it is recording, so we're all good here for this. Let's get to the quick hits. On available yesterday was the Invincible on next-gen consoles and PC. Available today is Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 on current and next-gen Xbox and PlayStation, along with Switch and PC. And also available today on Switch is Salt and Sacrifice. And then on Switch and PC tomorrow we have Risk of Rain Returns, along with 9 Years of Shadow on Switch only. And then Berserk Recharged is on current and next-gen PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. And then Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, is available on current and next-gen PlayStation, Xbox, along with PC. And then Friday, the big release, is current and next-gen PlayStation and Xbox, along with PC, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Now, if you've already pre-ordered it, you can be ahead of the game and play the story mode of that now. It is available for you now, if you pre-order. But I did not pre-order, and I will not be pre-ordering. I'm waiting to see some, hopefully some Black Friday sales or something, maybe. We'll see. On DVD this week is the PlayStation game movie Gran Turismo, and It Lives Inside, which is a horror movie that I'm not familiar with, so I cannot tell you much about it. Digitally, this week on today, you have Dumb Money, which is the GameStop story. Seth Rogen stars in it, along with some other people you probably know. And then on Friday is the musical that is known as Dix, and all I know is Megan Thee Stallion's in it, and maybe Nathan Lane? I think maybe I saw him in a commercial. I'm not 100% sure. And then also Friday is the release from Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, The Marvels. So that's your quick hits for this week on the Nerd News Podcast. When we return, I will give you a State of Marvel address, in my opinion. It's not good. So that's coming up next.
At TechD_Rob on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. More Nerd News Podcast next. Follow TechD_Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. At TechD_Rob. This is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome back to the Nerd News Podcast. This is being recorded probably the latest I've done it on a Monday afternoon. Simply because I had some things to do with my mom before. I wasn't able to get home until about 3 or 4. I think maybe it was 4. I had to go pick up my Rock Band stuff for a Friendsgiving this weekend. Gotta have the Rock Band stuff. And then, I ate some dinner. So, and if you listen to the A's and TJ show, you may already know, but I am about to participate in a thing called Screen Unseen. So I'm going to an AMC theater at 7 o'clock on Monday. You'll see this the next day. And I am going to see a movie that I don't know what it is. All I know is it's rated PG-13, and I know its runtime, which is an hour and 40-something minutes. And the only movies I've seen that are close to that are The Marvels. Highly doubt it's going to be that one, but maybe. And a Taika Waititi movie called Next Goal Wins. That one seems more likely to me. But either way, It's a $5 movie, and I'm curious of the. I've never seen a movie where I didn't know what I was going to see before it came on. So that's an interesting idea to me, and I think it's really cool. But I'm a movie person. Reagan said it sounded like he was throwing he'd be just throwing away $5, which, you know, if you're not into movies like I am, understandable. Sorry, I got an itch on my leg. Okay, so let's get to some other things before I give you the State of the Marvel Universe address. So BlizzCon happened over the weekend, and what happened at BlizzCon? So they announced one new expansion coming to World of Warcraft Classic, and that is Cataclysm, which if you've already played World of Warcraft, you already know that expansion. But they also announced 3 new expansions for the regular World of Warcraft. And excuse me, people were really hyped because so this guy who was involved with the origination of World of Warcraft is back on board, and he announced these, and people were really hyped about it. Also at BlizzCon, they announced some new Hearthstone stuff. There's a Battlegrounds. So if you've ever played Battlegrounds, it's an auto battler. You pick minions and they fight random. But there's now a two-player co-op version that is available. Not available yet, but it will be available soon. They also talked about Warcraft. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but there's another new mobile game. I can't remember the name, unfortunately. I should have written it down. But just know there's a new one. They're just, cranking them out. Hearthstone, they announced, I think the set that's already been announced. And they didn't really get into much else. So yeah, that was BlizzCon. I mean, there's stuff for Diablo. New expansion coming in late 2024, which, I mean, Diablo players are waited forever for Diablo 4 in general, so I'm sure they can wait another year. Also, a couple of TV series updates. Early summer 2024 is what we're looking at for House of the Dragon Season 2. Again, that's not even like a conclusion to the story. They're planning on a bunch of seasons for this, so I don't expect it to be. I don't expect a quick turnaround to get to the next season after that either. So keep in mind it could be a long wait to finish that series. But Hulu's Futurama, which is now what they call it, has been renewed for 2 more seasons, and it had already been renewed for 2 seasons. So that means we have 3 more incoming. They just did 4 total. 1's done, 3 left. That makes sense. I just did a lot of fingers into the camera, but I think you get the gist. 3 more seasons coming at you if you have Hulu and you want to watch that Futurama. The new season wasn't bad, wasn't incredible, nothing to write home about, nothing incredibly moving as I'm used to the standout episodes of Futurama being, like Jurassic Park, the 5-leaf clover one. Oh gosh, there's so many of the other ones. The one where he sold something to the devil to be good at the instrument. What else? There was also one that told Bender's origin story with Hermes. It was really good. I love those episodes. I am not afraid to cry watching something, and the Futurama has gotten me many times. Jurassic Park is probably, I don't know, Jurassic Park and the 5-leaf clover one are, they'll break me no matter when. If I see them on TV, I'm going to start crying. I know what's coming. It makes me cry every single time. Incredible television. 2 of the best episodes of any television show I've ever seen in my entire life. A top 10, both of them would be in it. Probably some South Park would be in there as well. What else might I put in a top 10? Some what was it? I don't remember what episode, but there's an episode from Breaking Bad that I would put in there for sure. Maybe I just know my top 5 because that's 4 at least right there. So maybe I'll do that in another episode of the Nerd News Podcast. Okay, so that's in another television news, Homer will no longer strangle Bart. Apparently in a new episode, he said he doesn't do that anymore. Which, it's not a big deal. They're making it a headline on IGN and stuff, but it's Homer has to evolve at some point, right? It doesn't, it's crazy that people are upset about it, to be honest. But here we are. Next, before we get to Marvel in general, I will talk about the new Amazon, Prime Video, the new entries into Prime Video, the season finale of Gen V and the season premiere of Invincible, all on the same day, last Friday, Thursday night if you were up around 8 p.m., which I try not to be. Gen V season finale, wild. I don't want to get into too many specifics about the whole season, but if you are a fan of The Boys and you're going to watch the next season of The Boys, you have to watch Gen V. You literally have to. Because the next season of The Boys takes place a couple days, according to Eric Kripke, I think is his name, the guy who's like one of the head creators of the show, said that it takes place 2 or so days after the events of Gen V, and they're very important to that story. So it's rare that you see a spin-off show that becomes like required viewing to know what's going on in the main show, but I appreciate it because Gen V was incredible. Every episode ended with something I was like, oh my god, what? And I highly recommend it if you're into The Boys. Next on the list is Invincible. It's been 2 years, something like that, since we got a new episode of Invincible. We did get the Adam Eve special. I haven't watched it yet, to be honest with you. From what I understand, it doesn't really factor into the show on a higher level. It doesn't affect what's happening in season 2, so it may be a while till I get to it. But season 2 picks up where we left off. Omni-Man left and left everyone on Earth, including his son, with a lot of questions. But they don't pick up on the Omni-Man saga, which is probably a good thing. He's the big bad evil guy, if you want to go in D&D terms, of the whole campaign, which is another D&D term. Of the whole overarching thing, he's going to be the main villain. He's the Joker to Invincible's Batman, etc., etc. So in that vein, they don't want to just go back into it in season 2 because they got a lot of stories. I didn't do it. I don't know how I did the thumb up again. I did it again. What am I doing to make it do that? If you haven't watched on YouTube, I wasn't sure that it would put in there yet that last time, but at some point, I don't know if I did a thumbs up. I'm trying to see. Oh, now I have explosions. I have no idea what I'm doing to make this happen. I gotta look this up in a little bit. But there are special effects. If you're not watching on YouTube, you're missing special effects. I'll tell you that right now. Let me see when this was, because this is the promo for the next episode of the Nerd News Podcast at 12:30. Let me write that down. 12:30 into the recording is promo. All right. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest with you. I don't know how, but let's see. Can I do anything else? I don't know. I wish I could figure this out. I'm going to keep a thumbs up going for a little bit to see if it does it again. But yeah, Gen V, great. Invincible, great. Highly recommend both of them. I feel like there might have been something behind my other screen. We'll find out. If you're listening to the audio version, I'm sorry, because I get very easily distracted, especially when something's popping up on a recording that I'm doing. But let's go to Marvel. So let's first talk about reviews of Loki, what's coming up, what's next on the docket, and then I'll give you my thoughts on Marvel as a whole. So let's start with Loki. 5 episodes into Loki season 2, and honestly, I'm not that into it. It's very Doctor Who, and I think that's on purpose. There's a lot of time travel involved, which is on purpose, obviously. But I don't know, episode 5 just felt like a chore to me. And I loved the first season of Loki. We were looking towards a future of the show at the time, and everything seemed to be going great. And then, at the end of season 1, they kill He Who Remains, and it still doesn't seem like the impending doom is that impending. We're on episode 5, and that doom has reached us. 5 episodes in, we get this. 5 episodes. That's a long time. Excuse me. But, and then at the end of episode 5, I'm not gonna. Well, I won't get into it. But there's something at the end of episode 5 that I just went, oh my god, okay. But episode 6 happens this Thursday, this Friday, if you don't want to stay up past 8 o'clock. So check it out, I guess. At least it's a finished thing after this is over. Very next day is the Marvels from the movie side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is Kamala Khan, Captain Marvel, and Spectrum, I think is what they call her old partner's daughter who was in WandaVision, who now has powers. So it's Spectrum, Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel, and Ms. Marvel. And they are the Marvels. And every time they use powers, they swap places. And I don't really know who the bad guy is, to be honest with you. I've seen one trailer of it that gave you an idea of a villain. And most of the other stuff is just quirkiness about what's going on, which I'm fine with. I love the character of Miss Marvel. I'm a big fan of Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is great. Captain Marvel leaves something to be desired. Spectrum, she was okay in their limited use in WandaVision. But I'm really interested to see, and I know she will. I know Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, will shine in this role. And I wish I remembered any of them's real name. Captain Marvel's Marvel name is Carol Danvers, and she is Brie Larson. I do know that one. That's the only one I got, though. But yeah, the movie doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look good. It's a November release, right before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving and Christmas, big movie holidays. But we're sitting here, what is it, 2-3 weeks away from Thanksgiving, and the Marvel release that's going to be out at that time is this movie? That seems like a miss to me. A big miss. But that's for the Marvel in general, coming up later. So that's out Friday, if you're really that interested. And then the trailer for Echo came out. It is the TV show that follows the character that we were first introduced to in the Hawkeye series, who is like a stepdaughter of the Kingpin, and she is Native American and she is deaf. And it's a TV MA show. So I'm interested in this. This gives me a smidgen of hope. Because if they do it right, it can have the grittiness that the Daredevil show had. Hopefully not the grittiness that, the Iron Fist, or I also didn't enjoy Luke Cage, and I also barely enjoyed Jessica Jones. Daredevil, great. Loved every single minute of it. But here's the deal. This could be good. I love Wilson Fisk. I love Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Fisk / Kingpin. So this could be great. But I've lost faith in Marvel to do great things. And the reason being, they haven't given us anything worth anything. Loki Season 2 has been the highlight of the past 2-3 years. I will start with Ant-Man Quantumania. A hunk of garbage. And it was supposed to set up Kang in a overarching villain type role, much akin to Thanos in the Infinity Saga. He was defeated by Ant-Man. But then, we get the after credits thing where there's so many different Kangs, it's okay, cool, great. And then we also see Jonathan Majors in the Loki television show. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched any of the season. But he's in a couple episodes as a character named Victor Timely, which appears to be his origin story, more or less, I think. Maybe we'll get some clear answers in episode 6, but that's the way it seems. And then next we get Secret War or whatever. Not Secret War, that's going to be something cool. Secret Invasion, a hunk of garbage. It was just the worst the worst of the Marvel television shows. It was not good at all. I watched every episode and hated almost every one. The first episode gave me some hope because it was at least intriguing. R.I.P. Maria Hill, played by Kobe Smulders. R.I.P. Maria Hill, and Maria Hill died for that crap TV show. A good character, they just flushed her down the drain for that terrible story. It's frustrating. So here's the problem. Marvel thinks they can do whatever they want and it's going to work. They made characters like Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Gamora, Drax, Groot. They made these characters lovable. But guess what? That was all James Gunn. James Gunn made the Guardians of the Galaxy appealing. The other characters that they worked with, Thor, everybody liked Thor already. That's one of the number one Marvel heroes from comic books. Iron Man, a similar situation. Captain America, duh. Black Widow, Hawkeye. These are all characters that if you have any knowledge of Marvel, you already knew about them. Most likely. I don't want to speak for everyone, but and then we introduce Spider-Man, and it's all characters that you care for. Now, Marvel gets them out of the equation almost completely. Hawkeye has been replaced by Kate Bishop, who I think is also called Hawkeye now. Black Widow's been replaced by she's Natasha. What is her name? But she was also in the Hawkeye show. She was in the Black Widow movie. You know what I'm talking about. Hulk, essentially replaced by She-Hulk. Captain America replaced by Falcon, which is fine. He's still Captain America. It's a well-known name. But it's going to be next year until there's another Captain America movie. People aren't interested in I'm sorry. The Winter Soldier show was good. The Winter Soldier and the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I enjoyed that one a lot. And that, I don't know, maybe that also was characters people didn't really know that well if they're just getting into the universe. Here, and I'll say this is probably the number one issue with a Marvel movie. You got too much homework to get involved now. So if you weren't already in, and you're just getting into it, you got too much to know about before you get in. There's too much information needed, or you'll be lost. Excuse me. Thor is still around, I guess, but barely. Iron Man's dead. Captain America's lost in time. The original Captain America, which Sam is now Captain America. I'll give him that. I enjoy him as Captain America. I think he'll be fine. Who else? Hulk, Hawkeye, Thor. Yeah, I think that's everybody. And these characters aren't around. And they've also talked about potentially, I don't know how serious the talks got, but they said they considered bringing them back. And that's not the answer either. They've shot themselves in the foot and now they're trying to just put a Band-Aid on it. They were trying to put a Band-Aid on it by just bringing everybody back. Which is cool. I think Secret Wars can introduce that and make it work. And that'd be cool. I'd be okay with them coming back for Secret Wars. But not as a hey, let's start over type of thing. I don't think that'll work. They have an opportunity in the Sony side of things to renew interest by, let's say, Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire. Loop it into the MCU. They don't have to, but they definitely could. The Amazing Spider-Man 3. I would love to see another Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie. Especially with one, maybe it's one where he is living with what happened in, the other Peter Parker's thing. But another thing, and I don't know if this would come up in those, is Doctor Strange. His spell at the end of the new Spider-Man movie was that no one would remember Peter Parker. Does that mean it's also in their universes? Or is it just in the main Marvel Cinematic Universe? That could be interesting to go over as well. So they have ways to make it interesting, and I just don't think they're taking them anymore. They're just not concerned. Well, that's not true. They are concerned. Because I have a feeling, and we'll talk about it next week, that the Marvels is not going to do well. I just think the superhero fatigue is real. But I don't think it's because people are tired of superhero movies. I think it's because they're tired of bad superhero movies. DC cranks them out, bad superhero movies, one after the other. Marvel has done the same thing lately. They're cranking out TV shows and movies every there's no breaks. And most of them have not been good. Look, I'm never going to give up on it because I always feel like they can bring me back. And they'll make these characters, even these remote side characters, I'm still interested. But I get why someone wouldn't be. And there's no reason, I mean, if you weren't already, there's no reason to garner new interest. There's nothing that's going to interest you anymore. There's nothing new to bring you in. And that's a shame. So that's the Nerd News Podcast. Hopefully, if you listen to the regular Ace and TJ show, you'll know where you'll know what my movie was that I'm seeing tonight. But I'll also bring it up next week on the Nerd News Podcast. I'll also be going to see the Marvels this Friday morning before I go play some of the new Magic the Gathering set. Oh, and on Thursday of this week, Magic the Gathering. Follow me on Twitch, TechD_Rob. I will be playing the new Magic set. It is incredible. The new set is going to be so much fun. It's called The Lost Caverns of Ixalan, and I've seen all the cards in it. It's all been spoiled. You can find it yourself if you're interested in Magic. But if you follow me on Twitch, TechD_Rob, as soon as that is live on Thursday, it's an early access stream that I've been invited to. I've been lucky enough to be invited to the past 2 times they've done it, and they continue to let me do it. Oh, there's my dog. Hello, Evie. And maybe if you watch, maybe you'll get to see Evie. You saw her ear there a second ago. Hey, baby. That's a good girl. Well, that's the Nerd News Podcast. I have to go get this dog a treat. If you're listening to this, just know you can watch it. It's available on our app. You can go to YouTube if you want and look for it, but it's easier. You pull up the new Ace and TJ Family app, and you can watch it from there. You can listen to it from there. There's exclusive stuff on there, and everything that you can want from the Ace and TJ show is available for you there. Even if you're an Ace TJ Prime Plus member, that's available through that app as well. Significantly easier and better than our previous app. And you're going to love it. acetj.com/app for the app. And like I said, app exclusives. There's stuff you can't get anywhere but that app. It's really, really cool. So acetj.com/app, and you can watch the Nerd News Podcast, the Meaningful Meeting with Ace. You can see an app exclusive video that TJ did last week about deer. You can watch the TJ and Jody's House podcast, the Week in Review podcast, the whole Ace and TJ show, extra funny. It is all there. And you should check it out. acetj.com/app to get that new app. So I will see you next week on the Nerd News Podcast.
That's it for this week's Nerd News Podcast. Follow TechD_Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at TechD_Rob. Subscribe now. More nerd news next week.